depends on situation, perhaps going to the 99-cent store and just getting a few small things. Kids love them and they're not expensive. So here's a sample behavior chart, and I will pass them out. So on this chart here, we have across brush teeth, then we have eat breakfast, take a nap, eat snacks, clean up toys, eat dinner, and go to bed. So this can be used throughout the day. And up here, as you see, we have all the days of the week. So your child wakes up Monday morning, they brush their teeth, put a little check mark, sticker, whatever you need to do. Oh, they eat breakfast. Oh, you put another check mark. They take their nap when they're supposed to. So these are certain things that parents of early childhood children tend to struggle with, getting them down for their nap, eating their snacks, cleaning up their toys, etc. So this can be something that you can implement. This is just a sample one. You put little marks down the columns, and if they have every single box checked off, maybe do a reward at the end of the day. Sorry. So something like that could work. Something else I want to mention, we can try to find something called a no alternative. So instead of screaming at your child saying, no, don't do that, don't hit, don't, any type of no, please stop, what you can do is try again, or almost, or let's try another way. It's less discouraging and it gives the expectation of a reinforcement. So it shows that they're almost there, not quite, and they can still keep on trying. So something to talk about too is redirection. So let's say you have 2 kids and they're starting to argue over a toy. Redirect behaviors by modeling desired behavior. So let's say the 2 kids are arguing over a toy. Maybe what you can do is simple as picking up another toy, sitting next to them on the floor, and playing with it nicely. This models how to play with the toy properly. The kids will notice you're playing with it, and they will pick up on it. Now, it does not always work, so you have to really know your own children, but something just to try out that does work with a lot of children in a school setting. I know it's different when you are the parent, so keep that in mind and try to find what works with your own child, but definitely just try to model what you would like them to do. They'll see you're doing it, and they'll be more likely to do it themselves. Okay, the do's and don'ts of positive reinforcement. Do please remain consistent. If you're not consistent with the reinforcers, it's not going to work. If you give rewards for behavior every so often and not every single time, they're not going to get it. It's not going to make the connection in their head that if I do this, something good comes from it. Same thing with presenting the reinforcers directly after the behavior. So if you delay the reinforcer, they're going to get confused a little bit. Like their working memories are not as developed as adults are. So if you delay the reinforcer, they're like, oh wait, what? Okay, I'm just gonna take the sticker, I don't know why, but they'll just be happy they're getting the sticker. So you have to be very specific as well. If you're vague, like, oh, here's a sticker, you did great today. Here's a sticker, you had a very good day. You did this, and you did this. I'm very happy. You need to be very specific so they understand why they're getting the reinforcer. You have to make the reinforcer worthy. So if you provide the same reinforcer over and over again, it might become something that's not worthy to them, just like the child who had $70 and the money wasn't worthy to him because he had the money he needed. You, again, focus on the efforts more than the outcomes. Like I had said, you're working very hard, you're playing together very nicely, rather than, I'm so happy you did so well on that test today. And sometimes you have to really dig deep. I know it's challenging with children. And let's say you're having an awful day and your kid keeps on acting up, doing anything in their power to get your attention, even if that's vandalizing something, whatever it may be. Dig deep. You know what? When you were playing before and you were singing so quietly, I was very happy to see that. Let's try that again. Dig deep, no matter what it can be. There's always something you can find to positively reinforce. You have to think in your own head what the child has already done and focus on that. And again, on the don'ts list, don't focus solely on the outcomes, focus on the efforts. So now I'm going to extend an invitation to you to maybe implement a system like this in your own home with your children. So focus on positive reinforcement at home. If you haven't already implemented a sticker chart or a reward chart, something of the sort, we invite you to implement this in your own home. Maybe you can find one behavior you would like to focus on a bunch of different behaviors. You have your sample chart that I gave you. I also have a URL for you guys to generate your own chart online to make it fun. You have pictures in there. So you can generate your own chart and focus on things you want the child to focus on. In this, you would have to find ways to genuinely reinforce positive behavior. You have to find what works for your child. So if I'm praising Anthony and I'm saying, oh, great job, and that's not working for him, find a different way. Find something visual to give to him. A sticker, a little toy, a little check mark, a tally mark, whatever it may be, something visual to see what they're getting from making good choices. Again, if you don't remain consistent, it's not going to work. Consistency is key. What we can do as well is I would like to arrange weekly follow-ups. So every week for 3 weeks, we can check in via email or telephone, whatever you prefer, and basically just see how it's going. I can give suggestions, we can talk about different things that are coming up. And if you're interested, we can do a post-workshop in 3 weeks. Maybe we can do it by video chat. Just as a group, talk about things that will have come from this, things that we like to work on, any questions we might have on how to make it better. So I'm going to give you guys some time to think about this and talk it over with the other parent or caretaker in the household, but right now, are any of you possibly interested in doing this? Yes? Okay. All right, talk it over. Here is the URL to generate your own chart. I will give this to you as well as a handout. Basically, like I said, you generate your own charts, whatever you like. Visuals are very important on the charts for young children especially because they can't read. So you have a picture of a child brushing their teeth, they'll understand brushing their teeth, cleaning up toys, etc. Visuals just make it more appealing, more fun, something they're very excited about. And lastly, let's remember that the way positive reinforcement is carried out is more important than the amount. And this was a quote by B.F. Skinner, the father of this whole theory. So the way you carry it out by remaining consistent and specific and providing the reinforcer directly after the behavior is more important than giving your kid like 100 stickers a day. You have to remain consistent, specific, and definitely have to remember to provide the reinforcer directly after the behavior. Now, does anyone have any questions after that presentation? Yes?
So, my one son, every time we go to the mall, if we walk past the Lego store, he throws a little bit of a fit, sits down, doesn't, he wants to go in the Lego store every single time he wants to buy something. So other than avoiding the store by walking around a different way, what are some ways that I could positively reinforce him?
Something we talked about before, maybe you see him throwing a fit. Do you go in there typically when he's throwing a tantrum?
I try not to. If it gets really bad, sometimes we'll go in.
Okay, so first and foremost, let's talk about the way to extinguish that behavior, which would be to not go into the store when he's throwing a fit. No matter how much of a scene he's making, no matter how many people are staring, what's going on, do not make a scene. Do not allow him to go into the store. It's going to be tough. You're going to just have to remain focused and just say, we're not going in, and redirect him to someplace else. Later on, after he calms down, you know what? I'm very happy the way you were walking before in the mall with me when we walked past Starbucks, something else, another store. Point out a very good behavior. And maybe at first reward him for that behavior with a stick or something that you want to do. Like, here's a toy because you were walking so nicely before. After a while, he'll start to associate, oh, if I'm walking nicely, maybe something good will come of this. You can even perhaps say to him, you know what? If you don't throw a tantrum, when we walk past the Lego store, we'll take you in. Maybe we'll look around. Maybe you can get something small. But if you throw a tantrum, we're not going in. And make sure he understands that. You have to see what works with your own child. Another thing would be, telling him beforehand, we're going to have a good day, we're going to go to these different stores, provide him with the exact detailed description of where you're going, from what store to what store to what store, so that way he knows there's no Lego store in there. So he does not expect the possibility of going in. So that could possibly work too. It's kind of like trial and error, see what works with him. But definitely remain consistent, don't go in. He's having a tantrum, don't go in. If he's not having a tantrum, specifically reminds him, you know what, you were doing so good today. You didn't yell at me, you didn't do anything that was something that made me upset. You made me very happy with the way you were acting. Let's go to the Lego store, maybe we'll get something small.
Okay.
Anyone else? All right then, that concludes our presentation.